Live-action superhero movies and shows have been struggling ever since Avengers Endgame marked the end of the MCU's Phase 3. Marvel has had such a hard time recapturing that same magic, and DC's connected universe was a complete mess until they finally decided to hit the reset button. While there have been a few standout successes here and there, they've been rare, leaving many fans frustrated with the overall decline in quality and excitement. That's why the upcoming Fantastic Four movie feels like such a big deal. Out of all the major Marvel properties, the Fantastic Four has arguably been the most mishandled on the big screen. Despite multiple attempts, none of the previous adaptations fully lived up to the team's potential. Fans have always believed that Marvel's first family deserves an epic, well-crafted film, and with Fantastic Four first steps on the horizon, it finally looks like the MCU might be ready to do them justice. If they can, it'll certainly be a huge accomplishment. But with every promising new superhero film, fans can't help but wonder what impact a hit could have on the struggling MCU. Before Fantastic Four arrives, we'll get Captain America: Brave New World, and the mood around that film is entirely different. There's like zero hype and anticipation for that movie. I keep seeing clips from it online, and it just looks like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, just in a movie form. And they're just showing like boring scenes of characters talking to each other. Nothing really interesting is happening. Why do you keep showing these clips where nothing really interesting is happening? It just makes the movie look boring. The marketing campaign has not been good, but the movie itself has undergone several huge reshoots. It just feels like it's being dumped in February, where it's not going to get a ton as compared to a summer blockbuster release. It just speaks to the apathetic state that most people feel towards Marvel specifically, but also a lot is riding on DC movies. I mean, the Batman came out quite a while ago now, and this is a new universe, I guess, for Superman, so it's disconnected from Matt Reeves, the Batman and the Penguin. But essentially, yeah, they're under the same kind of pressure to redo the whole franchise and breathe life into it and get people interested in superhero movies again. I think people are just tired of all of these huge interconnected films that requires you to have watched several previous movies and shows to understand what's happening. So I just want them to redo the whole thing. And I hope that the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, that's what they were going to do, since it kind of blew up the multiverse or whatever. I thought that's what the movie was intended, kind of reboot everything and start over with a new team like the X-Men or Fantastic Four. So this is why I'm actually somewhat excited for this specific film, because it looks disconnected to everything else that we've seen so far. Unfortunately, I know that it's going to eventually connect to one of the Avengers movies, because Doctor Doom, which is played by Robert Downey Jr., so it's going to be Iron Doom. Poor Fantastic Four fans have just been through the ringer. They can't get their proper Doctor Doom. But this movie itself, the trailer just released, and I actually liked it. I was very surprised. When it came to this movie, I was in particular just filled with apathy, but some vague curiosity. I actually had more optimism for the Superman trailer, but that sadly ended up disappointing me a bit. It felt more just like a sizzle reel, just a collection of scenes strewn together, just to give you an idea of how the environment looked, how the world looks, how the characters look, but there's no sense of the characters' personalities and what the story is, what is happening, what is the main theme or threat. So that was disappointing, actually. But on the opposite end of that, I'm actually feeling some excitement towards the Fantastic Four movie. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, that was like the most underwhelming part of the trailer. He definitely still feels miscast, but everyone else was great casting, I think. Love Vanessa Kirby. It felt wholesome and lighthearted, and I liked the aesthetic, the retro futuristic vibe. I really like that setting, and again, I like it too because it looks different. It looks completely disconnected from anything that we've seen before from Marvel, so it feels like its own thing. Hopefully it can be a satisfying watch by itself, that it's not too much relying upon setting up a future story. I can definitely see there's probably going to be an end credit scene teasing Doctor Doom, but my hope is that the movie itself can stand on its own in a satisfactory way. And we got a better sense of the characters, the theme, which is around family. There were several lines that indicated that they had to stick together as a family to whatever comes, and they tease the threat of Galactus at the end. So you really get a sense of the core theme, a bit of a glimpse of each character's personality and what they're going to be going through, and as far as their characters' journeys, and a sense of the story. And I got none of that with the Superman trailer, so hopefully that will change. But it hit on all those vibes that I really liked. I liked something different and wholesome even, and optimistic and hopeful. Nothing dark or grim or gritty. And I think this was a good way for them to do that with the Fantastic Four. I think that was clever. I love Ebon Moss-Backrack. He's great in The Bear. And I don't know if they did that intentionally. They had a scene of him in the kitchen cooking. The scene with him that I liked the most was when he was out on the streets and he saw a glimpse of himself. There's a TV in the window of a shop and he is looking in at what he used to look like. I actually felt something there. I kind of feel sorrow and sorry for him for how he looks now, and he's dealing with that. So again, that gave us a glimpse of where he is mentally and a bit of a glimpse of his personality. So I actually liked that moment. Not very much, though, about Joseph Quinn's Johnny Storm, him being a little silly, I guess, but there's still something we could see there. And we didn't see any of Reed Richards' powers, just introduce him as a smart man. He's like doing equations at a chalkboard. They didn't showcase his powers. I guess they're saving that for later. But yeah, Sue Storm, we got her powers, a glimpse of those, and she looks great. I love the casting for Galactus. Ralph Ineson has an amazing voice. So when I heard he was cast, he's done some amazing voice work. He was in The Green Knight, just killer casting there. So there is a lot riding on this film, though. It looks like they're trying to strike a different tone. I just hope this movie can exist on its own in a satisfactory way. Personally, for me, I'm just tired of all of these interconnected things. And I feel like the post-blip era just made it even more confusing. Throw in the mix the multiverses. It's very convoluted as it went. So can we just get back to basics and just try to do several characters and do that well? You don't have to do like this whole thing of trying to connect every single comic book hero in the Marvel playbook. Go back to basics, simplify the story, and just tell it really well. Ultimately, I just hope that Fantastic Four: First Steps can stand on its own as a great film, much like The Batman did for DC. While it's inevitable that this movie will tie into the larger MCU, it's crucial that it works as a standalone piece of entertainment first and foremost. A compelling, well-crafted Fantastic Four film could remind audiences why they fell in love with the genre in the first place, and prove that Marvel Studios still has the ability to tell fresh, engaging stories. Of course, this is just one piece of the puzzle, but for the MCU to truly regain its footing, every film moving forward needs to recapture its own sense of magic. Relying too much on interconnected universe building has led to diminishing returns. And if Marvel doesn't refocus on making each movie a strong individual experience, audience apathy will only continue to grow. Fantastic Four has the potential to be a major first step in the right direction, but whether it succeeds or not could definitely have lasting implications for the future of the franchise. But I'm curious to know what you think of everything we've seen from the Fantastic Four: First Steps. Are there any hopes you have for this film in general and how it will play into the larger MCU? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news, theories, and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.